What's up guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Ntui, and on this channel I make sewing tutorials and we drop new videos every Wednesdays and Saturdays. So if you're into that sort of thing, do not forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications so that you get notified every time I drop a new video. You're welcome. So in the video I'll be showing you how to sew men's.
You said you show us how to draft the female. Show me how to female female. Show me how to draft a trouser. You said you show us how to draft a female trouser. You said you show us how to draft a female trouser. You said you show us how to draft a female trouser.
You wanted a video on how to cut female pants. Ask and you shall receive, but be careful what you wish for the knowledge you're about to receive is dangerous and can drive your mind into chaos if you're not strong enough. Handle with care. Stay safe, my people.
Yo, sorry the video is so dark. It's raining seriously in my city. So to begin, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a line at the top of my fabric of my pattern paper. I'm going to roll a half-inch line at the top of the fabric. The distance from the edge of the fabric to where I just marked is half an inch. I'm going to roll a line from top to bottom. Now the next thing I'm going to place now is the crotch measurement. In case you don't know how to take the measurement or how I take the measurement, this is an example of how I take the measurement. Okay, when you're done with that, the measurement we have here is 9.5, so I'm going to make a mark at 9.5. That's the mark you can see there. When I'm done with that, I'm going to place the knee measurement at 21, and then I'm going to mark the hem at 37. So the hem is the trouser length. That's where I mark. That's the last thing I just marked. So you've seen that. That's the trouser length at the bottom. So now I roll horizontal lines across the points. So now I'm rolling a line across the knee. Okay. Then I'm rolling a line across the trouser length, and then I'm rolling a line across where my hip falls. Okay, that's where I placed my crotch, where the crotch line stopped. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place my hip measurement. So we're going to come to where our crotch stopped, that's a 9.5, and then we'll place our hip measurements. So hip 40 is 40 divided by 4 is 10. I'm going to make a mark at 10. So I'm going to mark the same thing as the top of my pattern. So the first line I drew, which is where the waist is supposed to sit, I'm going to place the hip there first. Sorry. Now I'm placing my thigh measurements divided by 2. So my thigh is 25 divided by 2 is 12.5. So I've made the mark at 12.5. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line connecting my waist to where I placed my hip. Please remember that I placed my hip at the top part too for now. So when you're done with that, rolling the line, you simply make a curve. So now I'm placing the waist measurements plus 1 inch. So I've placed the waist measurement at that point. So now I'm going to draw a line connecting my waist to my hip. So the waist was 7.5 plus 1 inch is 8.5. That's what I marked at the top. So now I'm going to measure the middle of my thigh measurement. Now my thigh was 12.5, so I'm going to come to 6.25. So I'm going to come to 6.25, and I'm going to make a mark at that point. Okay, I'm going to mark that 6.25 at all the other horizontal lines that I have. That's the knee, and now I'm marking the 6.25 at my trouser length, where I'll place my hem. That's the measurement, the distance around the ankle. So 6.25, I've placed that at every point. Now I'm going to roll a line connecting all these points together. So first my thigh to my knee, and then my knee to the trouser length where I will place my hem measurements. The hem is the distance around the ankle, please. So when that is done, it's time to place our knee measurements and the hem. So for the knee measurements, we had 18. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So we'll take the middle of 9. We'll place the middle of 9, which is 4.5, and place it on that center line, and we'll mark both sides. So I'm marking 0 inch now, and then I'm marking it at 9 inch. So when that is done, the next thing will be to place our hem. So the hem, the distance around the ankle was 14. So it's now be 14 divided by 2 is 7. You place 3.5 on that center line, and you mark at the beginning of the tape and at 7 inches. I hope that is clear. When we're done with that, we would connect all the dots together. So from the hem, I'm going to make it a bit straight before I curve it out. See, it's a bit straight there. It's not a very sharp V. If not, the trouser will have a very ugly look to it. So you make it a bit straight, like 4 inches up, before you curve it out. Okay. Now I'm going to connect my knee straight to where I have my thigh measurements. Straight up. Then I'm going to connect the knee straight to the hip. Just like so. Now we're almost done with the front. The last thing to do is to slope the front of the trouser so that it sits well around the waist. So I'm going to come to the front of the trouser. I'm going to make a mark at 1/2 inch. You see that? And then I'm going to slope, make a slant to that point. Yeah. Then I'm going to come up by 1/2 inch and make a parallel line running on top. That is the allowance we use when we're fixing the band to the trouser. So that's what the front looks like. So when I'm cutting, I like folding in the amount of the fabric that I intend to use as my hemming allowance. I like folding it in before I cut, so that it comes out with the same shape as the trouser itself, so that it doesn't sit a bit smaller. So I'm simply going to cut out the pattern exactly as you can see it here. Now it's time for the back of the trouser. You want to have 2 inches from this side, and you want to have as much as 2 inches on the other side. On either sides of the trouser, you should have 2 inches. Now, if you notice at the bottom of the pattern, I have added extra fabric to increase, extra pattern paper to increase the length, because the back is higher than the front because of the butt. Now, with that out of the way, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my paper to one another. Please, if you are cutting this on actual fabric, make sure that you cut the fabric on a fold, meaning you fold the fabric before you cut, if you're not cutting on paper first, please. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to replicate that line that you can see there. I'm going to simply just draw the same thing, but this time I'm drawing it on the back. Okay, now from the front, that's from the fresh line I just drew now, I'm going to come in by 1 inch. Okay, as you can see that, and now I'm going to make a curve from that 1 inch, make it slope until it naturally sits into the line that I drew at first. As you can see that, a natural looking curve. Okay, that shouldn't be so difficult. So when you're done with that, I'm going to make the back higher than the front by 1.5 at that point. Okay, then I'm going to make a line, a slant from my waist to that 1.5. okay, so I'm going to just extend this line. I'm going to add 3 inches on this side. Okay, it was supposed to be 2 inches, but I'm replacing that 1 inch that I've come in by. Please make sure that it's the same height with the waist. It should not slant down, it should be the same height with that. So it's 3 inches because it's 2 inches allowance plus the 1 inch that we've taken away from that front side because of the hip. I'm adding 1.5. Adding 1.5 here. Okay, and I'm adding 1.5 here. Okay, see that? Then I'm going to come to the knee area. I'm adding 1 inch around the knee area. Okay, and at the hem I'm going to mark 1 inch around the hem. So from here I'm marking 1 inch. From here I'm making the mark at 1 inch. I'm going to come to the bottom. I'm making the mark at 1 inch, and I'm making the mark here too at 1 inch. So I'm simply going to connect the dots when I'm done with that. I'm connecting from here to here and from here to here. Then I'm going to roll a straight line straight down to the hem. Okay. Please, if you're a bit confused on how I took the measurements that I'm using here, watch my previous video and watch the video before that on how to take measurements. That should give you some insights to what's going on here in case you have any confusions to the measurements that were used. So after I've connected all the dots, I'm simply going to cut out my pattern. So what I'm doing the same thing again. I'm folding the back in, folding it so that by the time I cut it, my hem would sit perfectly. You can even see the water on my paper. It's raining crazy. That's why the quality is a bit bad on this video, but my apologies. I just had to make the video. I just had to. I couldn't wait. You understand? So I'm trying to satisfy you guys, if you know what I mean. So we're simply cutting out the back pattern. Stay safe. I hope you guys are really feeling people are feeling my safety vibes. I ain't trying to die young, but that's up there before I get copyright. So now I'm trying to peel off my the seal tape to set it free. Oh Jesus, leave my hand now. What kind of wala is this one? Anyway, now we're done. This is the front. This is the front and this is the back. Front and back. Back is high because of the bum. Everything is looking perfect. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe. A lot of you are watching my videos and people are not subscribing. Me, I don't understand though. I don't understand it. See, don't allow people make me to now give people a problem.